What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for AEW All Out. I'm gonna be real. JD mentioned, or like in the title of his review, he said this was like the worst AEW pay-per-view. I would have to agree. Like, this show was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I could definitely say this was definitely the weakest of the AEW pay-per-views we've got. This was definitely the weakest. Like I said, it was still an amazing show. Shit's on the main roster for WWE, but you know, it was a little up. Honestly, watch this pay-per-view, I felt a lot of the same way when I watched Takeover in Your House, where I'm like, this is a great show, but it doesn't. It's missing. That doesn't go to that, you know, that next level, that little bit of extra to make it that much better, you know. But anyway, but yeah, man. Besides those, so we start off with Britt Baker and Big Swole in a tooth and nail match. When I first heard that, I'm like, what the fuck even is a tooth and nail match? Well, we found out what it is right here. This was pretty much just like another one of those cinematic matches kind of thing, but I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad. Like, it wasn't like terrible. It wasn't like one of the worst matches I've ever seen, but it wasn't really all that good. I did like the opening, though, where Big Swole kind of comes out of this car and she goes over to the front desk, and Reba was at the front desk, and they handed the thing for her to sign and everything, and she says, "Swole, Big Swole, bitch," or something, or I think she said bitch or whatever. So long as before she just hits her with the thing. So then after that, they're just kind of going at each other. Britt Baker brings out a drill. Big Swole throws Reba into a trash can. Syringes get used. Laughing gas to finish off the match. I was watching him like, yeah, this isn't good. And then so from there, we then went on what really should have been, though, because apparently this was going to be on the pre-show originally, which was where it should have been, let's be real. But apparently, according to JD, he mentioned, like, apparently people on Twitter were bitching about, like, oh, put it on the main show, and, you know, Tony Khan eventually bent the knee and just gave that. You can see why this should have been on the pre-show. But anyway, after that, we go to the Young Bucks versus the Jurassic Express. This match was great. This is what should have started the show, and it was a great way to start off the actual show, because let's be real, that's what this was. This match was great. The Young Bucks showed off a lot more, or a little bit more vicious, I guess you could say, in this match than they typically usually are. Like, they were not hot. They were super kicking everybody. Like, they even super kicked Marco Stunt, which I thought was pretty funny. You got that. You also had, I believe, Nick holding up Jungle Boy on top of the second rope, and like Matt does like a swanton off there. It looked pretty cool. You had fucking Luchasaurus jump off the top rope like he's apparently fucking Keith Lee, you know. So that was a sight to see. You had them hitting, you know, like super kicks after super kicks to, you know, take down Jungle Boy, but they wouldn't get down. So then they hit the BTE trigger, and that's what finally ended the match. Oh, and also one other thing. One other spot that was pretty cool, that you actually had a Jungle Boy jump off the top rope, and he got right in, and he was met with a super kick. I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah, and then like I said, the Young Bucks used with the BTE trigger to win the match. Great match to start the show. And yeah, next up we have the Battle Royal, which it was fine. Lance Archer wins this one. Only thing of note that happened, and let's get this over with, was what happened to what the hell was his name? Matt. I'm trying to think of his name real quick. Matt Seidel or whatever his name was. Mike Sydal, who of course used to be, you guys may know, as Evan Bourne. I remember, and he was going to be the Joker for the match. Which when I first heard that, when I first saw him and he was coming out there, I was like, is that Evan Bourne? And then, you know, I looked over on Twitter, everyone's like, it's Evan Bourne, and JD also confirmed it. So it was pretty cool to see him again, although the dude goes right at the top to go for that shooting star press, his finisher that we all know and love. You guys watched him back in the day in WWE, and of course became the biggest meme when Randy Orton RKO'd him, which really was the start of the whole RKO from out of nowhere meme. The dude goes to the top rope. He's about to go for it, but he slips. He could have killed himself, to be fair. He could have killed himself, but yeah. And of course, everyone is clowning on him. Everyone's like memeing it, and I just feel so bad for this guy. Like that man, that is going to live in infamy, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to haunt him more than the Randy Orton RKO. I feel so bad for this man. I feel so bad for him, man. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty much the highlight, as well as with Brian Cage getting a fucking body bag, putting thumbtacks, pouring thumbtacks in it, throwing Darby Allin, and then throwing them headfirst into the steps of the ramp area. Yeah, it looks pretty nasty. And that's not the only questionable, overly risky spot in the match, because next up is Matt Hardy and Sami G. Now, this was a match I was looking forward to because the build was pretty cool and everything. I've enjoyed the matches. We saw the other couple matches we did see before on Dynamite. But okay, I like most other pro wrestling fans would say, I enjoy me some high risk, some high spots. I enjoy some crazy shit, but within reason. I don't like watching it. I don't like thinking that I just witnessed a fucking murder, which is what happened. Now, while the show was on live, I was in the middle. I was working on the thumbnail and uploading my review for the latest SEO Outization episode. I was working on that, and I was constantly looking back and forth while I was working on the thumbnail and uploading it. So I ended up missing the spot when it first happened live. And then, of course, I watched JD's review before I went to record here. And afterwards, I rewatched that match because I missed it, and a few of the earlier matches because I missed those as well. But then I see the spot, and my God, Matt Hardy was. The fact that this man is still alive, the fact that he was able to even stand and finish the match, it is a fucking miracle. This man, it can't be human. Matt Hardy truly won't die. This man is unkillable. He is the toughest son of a bitch on planet Earth. This man. Okay, so what happens is he's on the scissor lift with Sami. They pretty much go up to the match time. Well, first off, one thing I loved about the match is actually open with them back in the practice area where they're the Jaguars. And once they get there, Matt Hardy is like, Sammy Guevara, get over here and face your deletion like a man. He wasn't going full broken, but he was pretty much saying, take your deletion like a man and everything. And then once the bell rings, Sami comes out in that same golf cart that Mankey ran him over with back at Double or Nothing, I think it was, which was one of the greatest moments of the year. Definitely. That match was absolutely fucking fantastic. But, yeah. That match was absolutely fantastic. But anyway, so then Matt Hardy, he starts chasing Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy managed to get in the way, and Sami just runs into some boxes. They start fighting for a bit, and then they go up to the scissor lift. They lift it up, and then Sami spears Matt Hardy into a table. Now his body ended up hitting the table, but Matt Hardy's shoulder and head missed it and just hit the concrete. My God, this man was absolutely motionless. Like JD said, I thought I witnessed a fucking murder. I thought I almost witnessed a goddamn murder. Like I was watching fucking a modern day version of fucking Owen Hart falling from the roof and dying, So y'all need to sell these high spots. I love me some high spots, but this is overly risky. You do not need to be taking spots like this. They're far too risky. And of course, Remy was going off on Twitter. That woman, Remy, man, I love Remy, man. She is so savage, but I would not want to piss her off. God knows, she's probably slapping the living piss out of Matt Hardy right now for that shit. She's probably going to have him sleep on the couch. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually is sleeping on the couch. But unless he's are probably in the hospital bed, which is where, and I agree with JD 100% here. They should have stopped the match right here. But of course, because of the stipulation that if Matt loses, he leaves AEW, they couldn't stop the match because of course he wasn't going to leave. He's not going nowhere. But they should submit. How Matt Hardy managed to get up, but once he did, you could tell this man did not know what time it was, why he's even in Jacksonville. He probably didn't even remember his own fucking kids' names. He probably didn't even know he had a wife. He probably still thought he was dating Lita. And it's like 2003. You know, this man was on wobbly legs. He was like, I'm pretty sure you saw Sami's ass for a split second because he was pulling down his trucks trying to stand up, but he just couldn't, man. I'm just like, my God, I was just watching and all like, how the hell are you still standing? But anyway, they ring the bell. You got Aubrey Edwards doing the X. Tell them like, get some medics over here, man. It was a scary sight to see, man. It was a scary sight to see. But somehow Matt Hardy gets up and they finished up. Went to the end of the match where they go climb up another fucking scaffold. Why, I don't know. But anyway, he punches Sami off of it. He goes into the ground, and of course, Aubrey counts the 10 count. So, yeah. Anyway, man, that was the match. Great match for what it was, I guess. Minus Cody, not Cody. Matt almost killing himself. Please, AEW, Tony Khan, stop with these ridiculous high spots, these overly risky high spots. But anyway, after that, we went to Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. I was blanking on her name for a second. This match was fantastic. This is women's wrestling. This is women's wrestling. This is what I look for when it comes to women's wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. This is what all future women's matches in AEW should look like. Okay? This is real women's wrestling. Thunder Rosa is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I was impressed with her when I saw her on Dynamite this week, and I just loved her here. Here in Hikaru, they had a great match. Now, was this the second coming of Sasha and Bayley at TakeOver New York? No, it wasn't that good. But my God, was this a fantastic match in its own right. So we had one of the spots I actually liked right here was actually where, of course, you guys know Hikaru usually uses a steel chair, uses it often as a launching pad to for like a hurricane run or whatever. Well, she goes for it. She sits in the chair and everything. She's about to run towards it, but Thunder Rosa actually beats her to it. Jumps off of it and like hits her with like a knee or something. Or maybe she also hit a hurricane on her own. So that was I think she just like hit her with like a knee to the face or something. So that was pretty cool to see. You also got the really cool face off with like right each other's faces and they just start punching each other. I always enjoy those. But one thing you also had Thunder Rosa go into like this move. I think it was called like the swinging. I'm blanking on it, but what she did, she like had her legs like her legs kind of like right on top, her legs wrapped around her feet anyway, wrapped around her legs, and then she was like holding her arms where she was up in the air. She was swinging pendulum. That's what it was called. The swinging pendulum. That's what the move was called from Excalibur, I believe. So she does it, swings her over into the bottom turnbuckle. The intensity in this match was great. This is real women's wrestling. This is what I look for. Not these fucking no talent blonde bimbos like Alexa Bliss, Billie Kay, Lacey Evans, fucking Dana Brooke. I would say Carmella, but she's gotten a lot better. She is no Sasha Banks, but she can work a somewhat decent match. Now, after I saw that match she had with Bayley, I think, what the fuck was that? Earlier this year, I think it was? But yeah. So, yeah. This match is great. This is the World's One, and this is, I don't know what her contract situation is with NWA, but whenever that expires, Tony Khan, you better pick this woman up and sign her. Her and Tessa. Yes, AEW should look at Tessa. I don't care if she said a bad word. I love Tessa Blanchard. I don't watch Impact, but I watched some of her matches and saw some of her promos a little bit ago, and I absolutely fell in love with Tessa. Yeah, I don't care if she said one bad word a couple like years ago, and this is coming from a black dude. That word has lost all meaning. Okay? And it's good for black. Do you know how many times I heard people say nigga fucking lunch in my last 2 years of high school? If I had a quarter for every time someone said nigga, white or not, I'd be a fucking millionaire. So cut the shit. Yeah, man. They need to sign Tessa. They need Tessa to uplift the women's division. Because, you know, once she's there, it's going to look a lot better compared to NXT. Because NXT is actually just like mopping the floor with AEW's when it comes to the women's divisions, man. But yeah, man. Also, Excalibur, who apparently is now a wrestling encyclopedia, they were talking about, JR was talking about how they're both double champion, how Thunder Rosa could be a double champion, but then it was like, oh no, she'll be a triple champion, because she is also the Tokyo Joshi International whatever champion. And Jay was like, well, only you would know that. Well, now everyone else knows. And I just laughed. I'm just like, of course, man. Anyway, after that, we had the 8-man tag between the Dark Order, Mr. Brodie Lee, and the rest of and a bunch of the other guys. I can't remember most of their names. And of course, Team Dustin with Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and I believe that was all of them. For at least that. This was a solid match. The best part, the most entertaining part of the match wasn't even the match itself. Well, first off, Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder, looked fantastic. I'm glad to see the man. He looks so much more happier. Like the man just has just oozes film. Just give me a fucking ring to wrestle in, man. Great shit. I'm glad to see Matt Cardona. He looks the best he has ever looked in his entire career. So I'm happy for him. Anyway, but the best part of this match, or at least the most entertaining part, wasn't even what happens in the match itself. It was JR on commentary. He said something along the lines of, "Did Ali have a wardrobe malfunction, or is that just me wishful thinking?" And I think she said like he's numbered. I think he also said like she's number 9, but she's number 1 in my heart. I think JR got a little crush on her, man. Other than that, Urban, man. And of course, you got the SJWs on Twitter. Oh, how dare you, JR, say that? Coming to her defense. I'm just like, yo, shut the fuck up and just let the man have some fun. This is tame compared to half the shit Jerry the King Lawler has said, perving out on the WWE females, man. Like, this is nothing compared to that. Come on. But yeah, man. So anyway, ending, Mr. Brodie Lee had, I believe it was Dustin on the outside. One other thing I did love this match was also just like waiting for Dustin to get in the ring, because you know what happened with his brother with Cody and everything. He was itching to get some of Brodie Lee, and I like how I think that it was Zack Ryder, might have been QT Marshall. Mr. Brodie Lee legit just throws him at Dustin's corner. He just tags himself in. I thought that was pretty cool, and showed him be like, he was like ready to just giving it to him, like, come on, let's go. But anyway, I think he had Dustin up. He finished him off with like his finish or whatever, and he tagged in Colt Cabana. Just go over to him, but Colt decided to be like, I'm feeling a bit crazy tonight. So he goes up there for like, I believe it was a moonsault. He misses it, and Dustin counters it and gets the 1, 2, 3. And of course, they start celebrating. It was also announced, I believe, on Dynamite next week that Dustin will face on Mr. Brodie Lee for the TNT Championship. Should be a good match, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. So anyway, after that, we had the tag team match for the championship between FTR and Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. FTR won this match, and this match was fantastic. Now, I haven't really talked about FTR at all since they made their debut, recently on the channel. I think I might have mentioned this before in some of my reviews for the WWE pay-per-views, the main roster ones anyway. I might have even said some shit on Twitter. But I was never really that big on the Revival. Mostly, like I said before, I only watched them on the main roster where they were buried. I didn't watch them in NXT and all the great matches they had with like out with American Alpha, DIY, Enzo and Cass, etc., etc., etc. Although I did actually, when the network went free around the start of this fucking pandemic and everything, I did go back and watch that match, that tag match between DIY and the Revival at Takeover. I forget which Takeover it was at, but I saw that match and I absolutely fell in love, man. I was watching the promo package for it. I'm just like, where's this Revival on the main roster? This Revival seems actually kind of cool, you know? But yeah, man, this match was fantastic. It wasn't on the level of that DIY match, but it was a great match nonetheless. So First off, I gotta say, I love Adam Page's ring gear he had for here. Instead of the usual trunks, he was actually wearing pants with the same cowboy aesthetic. I honestly hope he like continues wearing these and only wears these and like this is his future gear. I hope so because I really dig the look of these. So I hope he keeps wearing these for the rest of his career, for whatever. He like makes this more of a permanent thing because I thought it looked really, really nice. Anyway. So we start so first off, I loved the start of the match because of all the shit that's been going on with Kenny Omega, the Box, and Adam Page. That the start of the match, I was kind of wondering if they were just going to work together. They weren't completely on the same page, and they were kind of just like, not really trusting each other, but but eventually they got on the same page and everything was good. Of course, you had Adam, like Kenny started, that Adam Page was like, tag me in. Like, he's like, do you trust me? Tag me in. And he tags him in. And we also had FTR hit 2 assist pile drivers, or two assist fucking spike pile drivers, which, let's be real, that should have ended the match. I look at that pile driver, I'm like, how does that not end the match? But hey, Adam Page kicks out. Yeah, so we had a couple of assist pole. Those were nasty spots. I always cringe watching pile drivers for obvious reasons. You also actually had Dash and Harwood, or Dash and Cash, Dash Wheeler, Dash Harwood and Cash Wheeler. I'm getting their names kind of confused. I'm trying to remember the series from their WWE names. You also have where they did I think they did a power bomb, and then Cash rushes over to the second turnbuckle and does a frog splash onto Adam Page. And we also had this really nice little exchange here where I think Cash hit a pile driver and then Dash hit, Dash hit the pile driver, whatever that move was that leads into this move. And then Cash, I swear their names being so similar is gonna fuck with me. Cash actually does a German suplex and then into into a pin where he's on top of his legs and everything. It looked really, really cool. That little exchange looked really, really cool. I don't think I mentioned it before, but of course we had fans, partial fans in the arena, I'm not gonna lie, the crowd was kind of dead, but it was nice to hear actual fans for once, you know. So that was nice to see. Although, did they show up for fucking Chris Jericho to sing Judas? I swear it wouldn't surprise someone went there just for that, and they didn't really care for the rest of the show, because they weren't all that lively, to be fair. They were not all that lively. Except when Jericho, then they were like, everyone's like, let me call, man. Which we'll get to that in a second, anyway. But yeah, amazing match. Yeah, man, a great tag team match, and Cash Wheeler and Dash Harwood are now your new AEW Tag Team Champions. Excellent match, great tag team match, and the FTR, man, I'm looking forward to whenever we see them against the Bucks. This match is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to what we see with them as champions on Dynamite. So that should be cool. Oh, and one other guy, and we also, of course, had the ending after the Spark Pile Driver. Kenny Omega is just kind of just pacing around for a minute. Then he just decides, fuck it, I'm done. And he actually leaves Adam Hangman Page in the ring, goes all the way to the back. He's talking with the Bucks. He's just like, fuck this shit, I'm done. And then he goes into the car and just drives off. I believe it was JR mentioning something on commentary saying that, hoping that cooler heads would prevail. But so we'll have to see what happens on Dynamite, whether or not so. We didn't technically get the heel turn we were all looking for, but it looks like it's coming. Something's coming. So then after that, we then had the Mimosa Mayhem match between Chris Jericho, Le Demo God, and Orange Cassidy. This match was awesome. This match was also awesome. Danny mentioned that apparently they probably didn't realize real Mimosa because the color was off apparently from what actual Mimosa looked like. I looked up what Mimosa looked like. The color looked about the same, but hey, I wouldn't know. I'm only 20. I'm still under the age to drink alcohol. And so he said it was just water with food color, which I wouldn't be surprised because I don't know if they would waste all that money, waste some money on getting champagne and the orange juice and mixing them and having it go to waste. I don't know. Maybe it was real mimosa. Maybe it was just water with food coloring. Either way, we had 2 vats of mimosa on each side of the ring, on both sides of the ring, And so they made their entrance. Of course, when Chris Jericho does, everyone's singing Judas. Let me go, let me go, let me go, man. Let me go, let me go, let me go, man. Judas in my mind. You know, and you can see Chris how happy he was to find fans because he was fighting a smile. So that last like 10 or 20 seconds of the entrance, everyone's singing, or it's just them singing along, man. He was like struggling not to smile. I love it. Anyway, so this match, so the rules for this match was either you win by pin, submission, or throwing someone into a vat, and one of the vats. Of course, you had them trying to dunk each other in there, and they're like fighting it back. Chris Jericho, as he grabs one of like those cocktail plates and smashes it over Orange Cassidy's head. And first of all, I love the start match. Orange Cassidy kind of does his usual hands up, and you think he's going to put him in his pocket, but what he does is rush. It's like quickly like take his glasses off and rush towards Chris Jericho. I thought that was pretty nice little diversion right there, and kind of nice little diversion for what we thought, just to get the quick jump on him. I thought that was pretty cool. So they're going at it. You had like Crow Breakers and Judas Effect and all that shit, but. So anyway, let's move on to the end of the match. So we had Chris Jericho. He's up on top. He was up on top of like on the turnbuckle, the second rope, on the second turnbuckle. He's like right by he's like right in front of the or right behind, I should say, the mimosa vat. And so Orange Cassidy does his usual Superman punch or the Orange punch. He does I think he did like one, didn't work. I think he did two, and then that one didn't work, and then he did like a third one, or he might have did the second one. And he finally gets him into the vat of mimosa. And the sight of Chris Jericho just in that mimosa, like it was all over Twitter. People were saying he was in his natural habitat as he's just chilling in there like he's in a hot tub. You know, it looks pretty. Jericho just chilling there in that mimosa, man. Chris Jericho is an absolute genius, man. I love Chris Jericho. How can you not love Chris Jericho? He's definitely one of the best currently working today. Anyway, so after that, we then had, so after that, we then actually had the main event between Jon Moxley and MJF. Now, this match is also great. I would say it was probably a little long. Not so long where I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, will this match end? But like, long where I'm like, how long has this match been going on? Where I'm like, kind of like checking my phone to see the time. I'm like, how long has this match been going on? Which, I mean, it's not gonna hold, which wouldn't surprise me if they, like them and the tag match probably inherited whatever time Matt Hardy was supposed to get before he almost killed himself. But yeah, man. So of course, you had the whole thing where MJF couldn't, Jon Moxley couldn't use the paradigm shift, and so he had to get creative and all that shit. One thing I actually kind of liked about this match, first off, I love the gear MJF was wearing. He was wearing like this American-esque gear, with like American flags all over the place and everything. It looked really cool. But one thing I found kind of interesting is it was an interesting. I don't know if they did this on purpose as a callback to this match, or it just ended up being like a coincidence, but MJF spits in the face of Jon Moxley, and he's about to go for his finisher, but the ref tells him, telling him, hey, I'm listening, if you do it, you lose the title. And which kind of reminded me of, I want to say, Money in the Bank 2011, where if Randy Orton got disqualified between Randy Orton and Christian, if Randy Orton got disqualified, he would lose the match, he would lose his title. And so Christian like spit in his face, and then Randy gave him a low blow, and Christian became the world champion. It kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if that was done on purpose or that was a coincidence, but I thought that was kind of interesting. You of course have Wardlow there. He didn't get involved in the match like really at all, outside of like that one time we threw Moxley back in the ring. But yeah, anyway. So let's fast forward to the finish real quick, because this is pretty insane. So of course, first off, you had MJF, or not MJF, you had Moxley fucking launch MJF into the steel post, which then MJF, I assume, bladed himself, and then he started bleeding all over the place. Looked pretty nasty. I always enjoy seeing some. That's like the one thing I definitely miss about wrestling in like WWE is that no one ever blades. But now I get why, because they're a PG show and everything, but it's nice when you can actually see some blood in a wrestling match. Anyway, I mean, we see it occasionally, but not that super often. But anyway, so he blades it, and he's bleeding all over the place. So they start keep going at it again, and then actually Wardlow gets on top of the apron and trying to distract the ref as he threw in the AEW diamond ring to MJF. MJF is like searching all over the place for it, and he starts looking for Moxley, and with the ref's turn, Moxley hits the paradigm shift and gets the 3 count. So obviously we're going to have, which I kind of had a feeling this was going to win, judging from the fact that Lance Archer won the Battle Royal. I kind of have a feeling they probably weren't going to give the belt to MJF just yet. But yeah, man. This match was absolutely awesome. So of course, we're gonna, MJF is probably gonna have some issues with it, because I also gotta say I love the build for this match with MJF doing all these like little speeches and calling John Moxley Dictator John and everything. I love MJF, man. MJF is so good. How can you not love MJF? But anyway, man, yeah, not MJF, Moxley is still your world champion. Like I mentioned before, after Lance Archer won the Battle Royal, I had a feeling he was probably going to retain. Now, what does this mean next? I think we'll probably get a rematch. I don't know when, probably, maybe not soon, but we'll probably get something happening on Dynamite, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have a match between Lance Archer and MJF, and whoever wins that one gets the title shot. I don't know. But Dynamite should be interesting this next week. Anyway, so overall, I'm going to give AEW All Out a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, another fantastic show, just missing that extra that you would typically expect from an AEW pay-per-view. Yeah, man, tell me down below what you guys thought of the show. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, if you like links on the description box below. And as always, back for more. See you guys next time.